Hi guys, welcome to episode 2 of White Picket Weather Girl, where we give you the forecasts on the Louisville real estate market, along with all the other sunshine and rainbows of my life and job. Look how good I have that memorized now.
I love it.
This is Sienna. She's my bestie at White Picket, so I wanted to have her on as soon as possible. And today we're kind of just going to be talking about how to prepare as a first-time home buyer. And whether you're a 2024 2025, 2026, whatever. I truly think this video is relevant if you basically have the intentionality to buy at some point.
Yeah.
But Sienna, do you want to introduce yourself first? Give a little background before we start.
Hi, I'm Sienna. I have been with White Picket for almost 3 years. I started off as an admin and then got my license last year. I think you're gonna have to edit this out.
No.
Last year.
No, you got it the year before, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I got it in 2022. Okay.
Yeah.
You can edit that out.
Okay.
Sure. So I got it in 2022, summer of 2022, and started with the team in January of last year. So I'm also in an admin role here as well, but I also sell on the Elmore team. Okay.
Yeah. No, you're good.
I'm so bad at it.
No, you're good. You're good. Let's see. Yeah, so Sienna and I both started, I think we only started like a few weeks apart from each other, right?
Yeah.
On our first day.
Yeah.
So we're like day ones here. We both started in like admin marketing roles and worked our way up to obviously being agents and selling. And so I feel like that like made us bond so quickly too, because we kind of started in the same spot. But anyway, so we're going to just kind of talk about a few different just like tips, basically things to keep in mind. I've said this on my social media before, but I know that I kind of have a younger audience. Obviously, like we sell to anyone and everyone, but because we are a little bit younger, we do capture quite a bit of first-time home buyers. And so I really try to like plant as many seeds as possible to them to get you ready for home ownership. I'll kind of start by talking about some of the finance pieces. I'm not your CPA and I'm not your lender, so take this for what you will, but these are my tips from a real estate perspective of just some things to keep in mind. So first thing is down payment wise. So for FHA loans, you start at 3.5%. Conventional starts at 3%. And I'll say, and Sienna, you can let me know, I think because of how crazy inflation has been, I personally have not had a lot of buyers put down much more than that this past year. Sure. And I think that people have this kind of idea in their head that like you have to have that 20% down. And like, let me tell you, I promise it's worth you just getting in the house when you can get in the house, sitting on the appreciation, and obviously having a little bit more expensive of a mortgage to counteract that. Like I truly believe that. You just need to get in when you can get in. I was just making a video about that the other day. Keep that in mind. So if you're looking at a $200,000 price point, you're looking at a potentially $6,000 down payment, especially if maybe you're going in with someone else. You can look at it as like, how am I going to save? You know, you want to round in some money for closing costs too. So let's just say you all want to try to save $10,000 or so before. Like, how am I going to save $5,000 in the next year or two? Break that down, start paying that monthly of like literally make an account, set it aside, and make a down payment fund. And I feel like if you're disciplined with it, the money will come a lot sooner than you think. And then it's kind of like one less thing you have to stress about. One other thing I'll say too, just as far as like finances goes, this is very relevant to us, especially with tax season coming up. Just again, I'm not a CPA, but do keep in mind if you're like strictly commission or you just work in a job where you are kind of a mix, you write stuff off, be very conscientious of like how you're doing your tax returns, because if you show on paper that you're only making 15 grand and you think you may want to buy a house this year or next, just keep that in mind, because in order to get pre-approved, your loan officer is going to have to look at that. There's many products that we can be kind of creative with, like bank statement loans and different stuff, but like just keep that in mind. And I can always go into more detail, but I'll shut up. You talk about the second part.
So one of the main things that I would recommend you do as a first time, well, if you're not a first time home buyer, but
definitely if you're first time
if you're a first time home buyer, is sit down with your realtor. No matter, even if, like Emery said, 2026, you're thinking about buying. it's never a bad time to at least start the process. I bought a house in 2020, literally bought my house. 2 weeks later, everything shut down for COVID. But one thing that I wish I probably would have benefited from is sitting down and understanding more of the financial aspect, understanding, what the market was like at the time. I had an amazing realtor. She's actually a realtor here at White Picket that recommended me here. So I was very unaware at the time of what all it entailed to buy a house. So I would recommend just start there. Start with a buyer consult. Your realtor, if they're a good realtor, which we're amazing realtors, they will sit down with you and go over all the contract contingencies, what the market is like. The market is shifting right now, in real time. So it's extremely important to know what you're getting into. And then they'll also, they can bring in a lender to the buyer consult too, and talk about finances, talk about your situation and all of that good stuff. So 10 out of 10 recommend doing a buyer consult, no matter, again, like Emery said, whether you want to start buying tomorrow or in 2 years. It's always good to have that knowledge up front when you start the process.
No doubt. And I feel like maybe from your position, sorry, there's a lot of people in here today. From your position, like you may have kind of almost skipped the buyer consult because you're such good friends with who her agent was at the time too. And so like, that's one thing. I'm like, whether you're watching this, if I see you on the weekends or we go get dinner and, you still see me often, like we still have to sit down and have a consult, like no matter what level of closeness, like it's not something we do to just get to know people. It's truly beneficial for all parties and just being prepared. So 100% agree with that.
Yeah. And I come from a family, we have real estate investment properties. So I was also like, I know about this.
Yeah, like
really in reality, when you're going through it yourself, there's so many things throughout the process that you just don't know because you don't know. You've never been through it before.
100%.
So
it's like, why would you know how it goes unless you've been through it before? And again, if someone back in 2020, like you, like bought when interest rates were so low, everything was bidding wars to last fall when you can get in and negotiate, their expectations are completely opposite of what they should be. So that's like one thing too, is like, honestly, I always break it down in seasons. I feel like every season of the real estate market is different. And sometimes it's different from July 15th to August 1st because school, starting back. Like there's so many situational things that change it, but definitely in like as few months pass, like it's different. It's always different.
So I mean, we've even seen a shift from 5 months ago.
100%.
So right now, we're back to kind of seeing those multiple offers, waiving inspections, things like that. So it really does change so quickly, and that's why it's so important.
It does.
To have someone to kind of guide you through that.
Yeah. And it's kind of the fun of it, honestly, too, is that like if a type of market doesn't really align with what someone wants to do, you kind of always have an opportunity to maybe like jump in at like different times.
For sure.
So anyway, those are kind of just like the main things. Again, obviously, if we do sit down for a consult, we explore every single option. But I just want to remind you that like apartment leases and rentals are obviously so expensive right now that I feel like this is the time to be more motivated to try to get in and buy. Probably it's been more relevant than ever before because it's just rentals are literally insane. So even if like you're not immediately in the market, this is stuff you should just maybe kind of be conscientious of. So then that way, again, you like are prepared and can hopefully ideally like speed up the process. Cause I mean, obviously that's most people would like to be in a house like pretty much as soon as they can. But anyway, so on these, I like to try to kind of shift between like real estate and go to personal stuff. And that's really why I wanted to have Sienna on too, because again, she literally is like my best friend here, really one of my best friends in general too. She's kind of like my boyfriend on Friday nights because she takes me out to dinner a lot. So
that's true. That is true.
So it's just been like so fun again, getting to like go through this with her. So as we said, we are sometimes each other's dinner dates of choice. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite like local Louisville spots. So what are your top dogs?
Steak and bourbon.
100%.
That's like me and Emery, we just say S&B. We know exactly what that means.
100%. Like, screw everything we just said. Like, just go make a steak and bourbon reservation after this.
Yeah, seriously. Forget about the buyer consult. Go to steak and bourbon. Spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then La Bodeguita. Oh,
Fire.
Man, that's one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I have to say Boom Boss. My family, we own Boom Boss Pizza. So that's always, it really is one of my favorites. I'm not just saying that. I really think it's some of the best pizza.
It is so fire.
So
she is like, she wears so many hats. I think it's like one of my favorite things about her, kind of being cheesy, is like this girl's work ethic is crazy. Like it does admin work. White Picket stays afloat because of Sienna. Welcome to behind the scenes of White Picket. She sells real estate, kills it there, and she runs restaurants. So this girl like does anything and everything. She truly like inspires me. I feel like we're both such hustlers, and like sure. I think that's also why we get along so well. I love it. We're willing to get like down for Sienna more than me. I will admit, when we did admin stuff, I was kind of always like at the bottom of the ladder. Sienna was always like screwing in things,
using the drill. Emery was just propping me.
I am a supervisor role, but
I love it.
That's fine. You always have your yin and yang.
That is so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you? Obviously,
okay.
Steak and bourbon.
I love Morris Deli. It is one of my favorite lunch spots. It's always like in the middle of the day. I feel like since we're not far from it, but I feel like I don't think about it. But I would literally go like weekly if I could. Love Morris Deli. I like guacamole too in Nulu. I think that's super good. I love District 6 in St. Matthews. I've literally only been one time, and I definitely want to go again. It's very, very good. Yeah, but good. Steak and bourbon is probably like my very favorite. That's like definitely our like treat if we're wanting to like go out and do stuff.
It is.
So 10 out of 10 recommend.
10 out of 10. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, but no, like I said, I think that again, preparing for being a first-time home buyer and everything is like obviously really the best thing you can do. You have to think, I think I read a statistic like around like 65% of Americans are like homeowners. And so it's like people do this, and there are stressful elements of it. I think people are like scared that it's just going to like ruin their life for like a month and a half having to go through this, but it's like it's doable, and the stressful elements are really taken away by the preparation like for sure. Up front.
That's a great way to put it.
People do it all the time, and again, not to toot our own horn, but beep beep. We guide people to the best extent that we can do too. So
for sure.
Anyway, but can you think of anything else? Like
I don't think so.
You're good?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Cool. Well, I'm not sure. We also have another bestie here, Paula. We're like a little trio here at White Picket. Those are also my group dinner dates. So maybe we'll do one where us and Paula. I think Paula is still out of town today. So maybe we'll do another episode. But thanks again for watching. And again, as always, like if there's any other topics or anything to kind of just dive into that you think would be helpful, I'm always happy to do it. Yeah. And we'll be seeing ya.
Yeah. Bye guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Good job.
Oh gosh, you're gonna have to edit out the first part.
Okay, but that was like barely anything. I feel like we got our rhythm.
Yeah, we did.
Let's see. That was 14 minutes.
Oh,
so
perfect.
That was like literally perfect because with the editing, it's probably only.
Can I see like what